Hey everybody, and welcome back to the SKEETER Racing YouTube channel. Today I'm going to give you an update on the 240 and show you some of the progress we've made on it. Now if you'll remember in my last video, our goal was to get the car painted in time for the next drift event. We had a month's time to do this. It was a big order, but we planned it all out and it looked like it was going to be doable. Now the first order of business was taking apart the car. We started by getting rid of the pig nose. This will be the last time the pig nose touches this chassis. Next, we took the hood off and removed the insulation from underneath the hood. Whenever we did that, we found a pretty shocking surprise. It looks like this car has actually caught fire at one time because the whole underside of the hood was very scorched. This took a lot of elbow grease to get out. Once we got the hood all cleaned up, it was time to take the fenders off. These went a lot faster. Now being a 30-year-old car, of course it had rock chips. Also being so old, those rock chips started to turn into rust pits. Each little rock chip that was on the front of this hood was turning into a little divot of rust. So that all had to be ground away down to fresh, clean metal, treated, and then self-etching primer was applied to that area to help really bite into that metal. Now with all the easy panels off, it was time to start identifying the dents everywhere. I walked around the car with a Sharpie multiple times, circling any dent I saw. I made sure to look at the car from many different angles to try and catch every single one of them. Once I thought I had found all of the dents, I began the bodywork. Now I was very fortunate with my car. It had very little rust, except for some around the hatch, a little bit underneath the side mirrors. I decided to use a product called Pore 15 to both treat and prevent future rust from happening. Now with all of the bodywork done, all of the rust on those areas treated, it was time to load up everything and head out for primer. Now we were working on the car, getting the body work done. I had got basically the chassis in primer. The only thing that wasn't in primer was the fenders and the bumpers. Everything was going great. After we got it in primer, I did miss a couple spots that I'll have to go back and fix. With a car being 30 years old, there's really a lot of dings, dents here and there, and it wasn't a big surprise that I missed some. So I'm gonna go back, I'm gonna fix those, get the fenders, bumpers, and primer. And the plan was to get the fenders, the bumpers, and those spots in primer, and we're gonna be in paint in time for the drift event. Now fast forward to the Sunday before the next drift event. Keep in mind, this is Sunday. The next Saturday, I've got a drift event to be at. So I'm driving the car back from primer. We'd primed that morning. I was driving it back that night, back to my house, and at the first stop sign in my neighborhood, I heard something. I was hoping that it wasn't a big deal, and then we pulled into the driveway, and it sounded terrible. Take a listen. Now my first instinct was the motor is knocking. And I was pretty devastated. I was like, this is a week. We had literally planned every single day out that it was gonna be in paint by that drift event. We had it all written down, what needed to be done each day in order to get it done, and it was going extremely smooth. The one thing that made me have hope in this whole situation is if you listen to that sound, it's not consistent. A rod knock will be completely consistent. There's no getting around it. It'll keep knocking no matter what. It'll change with RPMs. This one changed with RPMs, but all of a sudden it would stop out of nowhere. Completely stop making noise and be fine. Now on these 240s, it's very common for the timing chain guides to either one, go bad, they'll wear away where there's really nothing there and make noise, or two, they'll break off. I figured it was probably one of those guides that was making the noise. Now the common fix on these is actually just to take them off completely. You can replace, but they're kind of expensive to get and it's really not worth it. A lot of people just take them off and it's fine. So I took this top cover off to take a look at them, and sadly the previous owner had already taken them off of this car. So that got me thinking, now, is my timing chain stretched? Is my timing chain got a couple broken links in it but still together? And in order to find the answer to that, I needed to dig in deeper. So in order to find out what was going on, I needed to take the timing cover off, which at first did not seem like a big deal to me. I was like, oh, it's just this front timing cover, no big deal, right? Right? Wrong. So in order to take the timing cover off, you have to drop the oil pan because the pickup tube is attached to that front timing cover. Now in order to drop the oil pan for me, I had to drop the whole rack in this car. So remember, this is the Sunday before the next drift event, and I have the rack out of the car, oil pan drop, and timing cover off. Now, I'm not a Nissan expert by any means. I really know my stuff about Mustangs, but Nissan's a whole new deal to me, and I felt like I was a little in over my head. I couldn't see anything wrong with what was in front of me. I was checking the chain. There seemed to be nothing wrong. There was no scoring. There was no nothing. There was no signs of anything. Even the lower timing guide seemed fine. There really wasn't anything wrong with it. No broken pieces. So I called in one of my friends that has worked on these cars for a long time. He's owned a bunch of them. He's worked on a lot of them. And even to my surprise, he couldn't find anything either. He said, I really don't see anything wrong with this. The only thing that we somewhat saw was my lower tensioner. Wasn't 100% working right. It was kind of hard to push in and didn't recoil very well. So just on a whim and hoping that that was what it was, I ordered a new one. It is a specialty order item through AutoZone. It took 2 days to get in. So it's Tuesday now. The part comes in, I get that installed. I get most of the car put back together. Wednesday night, I finished putting it back together. I started up and it sounds terrible. Obviously, I had got the timing off whenever I put it back together. It sounded like it was cammed. I mean, it kind of sounded cool, but it wasn't right. Now, Thursday and Friday, I had already made plans with family, plans that I didn't want to cancel. I could have easily, but it's just, that's not my thing. So now we're Saturday morning. This is the day of the drift event. I wake up super early. I had done some research on how to set the timing properly. Keep in mind, I did not have a timing light. If I had a timing light, it really wouldn't have been a headache at all. We wouldn't have been able to get it exact. I look up some YouTube videos on how to set the timing on this thing. And let me just be the first to tell you, don't believe everything that you see on YouTube. As a YouTuber, I like to support other YouTubers, I like to try to help the community by watching their videos and stuff like that. But when it comes to setting the timing on these things, and the guys that are making these videos, it was laughable. Watched a video on how to set cylinder number 1 to top dead center, and then how to adjust your distributor accordingly so that it will be in time, and it just further threw out my timing. Even worse than it was before. Now the car will not start at all. So we're working on it all morning. It fries one of my batteries. I had an Odyssey small high performance battery in it, just like the one that was in the Mustang, and it fries it. So I have to go get a new battery, and still just cannot get the timing set right. It won't start. And it's now getting time where the driver's meeting is gonna be happening soon. And if I don't get there, I'm gonna miss it. So I load up the car anyways, knowing that it was just a timing issue. Thought I could probably fix it at the track. So I loaded up the car, made the hour-and-a-half trek to Stroud. And as I'm pulling up to Stroud, I turn to my brother and I say, do I pay the driver's fee? And my little brother looks at me and he says, pay it in confidence. And that was kind of all I needed to hear. I said, okay. Whenever it got up to my turn, I paid my driver's fee. I pulled in, parked, and I left the car on the trailer. I did not want to unload it, and just in case, for some reason, we could not get this car started. With that being said, we fidgeted with this thing for about an hour. We're messing with it. When we're there, other things are breaking. I bust a fuel line out of nowhere. There was a section this big on the stock fuel rail that I did not replace. That's the only piece of fuel line that's not brand new on this car. And guess what? It blows up. So luckily, the guy next to me, super nice guy, I believe his name was Anthony. He helped me out. He had some clamps and everything. We got a new line on it, or at least got it where it wasn't leaking, and kept messing with the timing. Spirits were down. I didn't think we were gonna get to drive. My little brother didn't think we were gonna get to drive. And my older brother didn't think we were gonna get to drive. We're trying things, nothing's working. I re-stabbed the distributor one last time, and I'm looking at my little brother with my hand on the key, and I'm thinking, this is so dumb, should not have come. I turn the key, and it fires. And it's running really well. There's no lopey idle. It's running smooth. It's idling. Baby, we're in business. So at that point, we drive the car off the trailer, we do a couple more fine-tuning things, really make sure and lock in that timing, and heck, we had been there probably an hour and a half working on it. I had the whole day to still drive. Now I didn't know if this car was gonna make it all day or not, especially just out of all the crazy work that we had just done to it, and I had not got to test drive it yet. But whenever we fired it up, it was silent. The noise was gone. So that tensioner fixed my knocking problem. We got it in time, and I was able to drive all day long. Not once did this thing break down and leave me there. At the end of the day, I got to drive this on the trailer. I didn't have to push it on the trailer or winch it on the trailer. And we had a fantastic day. By the end of the day, really starting to get the hang of it. Each drift event is a learning experience for me. Really, I'm in kind of a learning mode. That's why I haven't been going crazy with any suspension stuff and like big build ideas. Really, it's just been maintaining what's here and trying to make it look at least halfway presentable. We went home Saturday with smiles on our faces and we felt accomplished. We got the car running, we had a great day of drifting. I still learned a ton. Every drift event, every time I get behind the wheel of this car, it's just learning, and that's really what this whole thing is about right now. We'll get into the build later, and I'm very excited to show you the ideas for this car. We do have the new motor for it. I'm excited to show you kind of what I can do, the skill set that I have, and also bring in some new faces that are going to be working on this car with me. Not only help me learn, but to make the car the best that it can be and perform the best that it can. The whole goal behind this car is to have fun. Right now, yes, it can be a headache because I'm trying to maintain something that's 30 years old, has more miles than anything I've ever driven before on it, but at the end of the day, I'm having a blast. My little brother works on this car with me all the time. I will actually wait to work on this car so that my little brother can come over and help me with it. And he's learning so much, and I think it's really important to take these skills that I have and the knowledge that I have and pass it on down. My little brother is gonna be the coolest guy in school because when that girl that everybody likes has a flat tire, he's probably gonna be the only one that knows how to change it in his class. And he's most likely gonna be driving something super cool. And if he doesn't have something super cool of his own to drive, I'll let him borrow one of mine on prom days and stuff like that so that he is super cool. I heard a saying that a lot of drifters say is keep drifting fun. It is fun. It's a lot of fun. And we're gonna keep keeping it fun. We're gonna keep going, learning, exploring new types of racing. Drifting is not the only type that this car is gonna be doing. I will be doing some autocrossing, but I have a friend of mine that's currently building an autocross truck, and I'm kind of waiting till he's done. I want to go and experience that with him. We can learn together. And I'm kind of waiting until he's done with his build. I'd like that to be something that we go and we can learn together at the same time, like give each other pointers. Hey, like this corner, I did this thing. It was really cool. It really worked. And that's really what this is all about. It's all about learning and having fun. Teaching my little brother new things, me learning new things. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for watching this video. I appreciate you guys sitting around, listening to me complain about cars, listening to all the headaches that I had with this thing. I hope wherever you are, whatever time it is, you're having a great day, great night, whatever it is. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.